Hey, Lauren Doyle here, your favorite intuition teacher of Trust Your Gut for business, relationships, and personal development. And I'm continuing on with answering questions this week. So the first thing that came up today was, and sorry if I sound like froggy or whatever, my face is literally all swollen from seasonal allergies. So that's a new thing for me, seasonal allergies. It just started happening the past few years. And so my voice still sounds like I've smoked like a pack of cigarettes for the last 10 years, even though I haven't. So excuse me if I sound a little froggy, but anyways, the question for today was, okay. So one of the things I talk about is waiting for decisions to become more clear. So when you're trying to make intuitive decisions, initially, if you don't know what to do, that's where people get themselves into trouble because they'll push. And if you watched yesterday's video, I talked about going against flow and how that's different than the resistance that comes up with intuitive decisions, which is, there's a fear behind that resistance. Fear and intuition and intuitive decisions are always kind of go hand in hand, so that's always good. But when you go against flow, that's sort of that push to make a decision, and oftentimes a statement of, I'll do it later, I'll fix it later, F it, I'll fix it later, which I'll do a video about as well, is kind of like the mantra that goes along with that. But one of the things that I talk about is that when I say, oftentimes you need to wait for things to unfold a little bit before you make a decision, that doesn't mean that you do nothing. So I want to explain that a little bit. What does that actually mean, to wait for a decision? What I mean by it is this. If a decision is not clear, so if you try to feel what is the right decision, you start getting anxiety about it, you have the feeling you need to push for something, it's really not clear. My mantra is, if you don't know what the decision is, if it's not clear, you need to wait. So there's some unfolding that needs to happen. Unfolding is the process. Just think of it as, like a plant, like a flower. So you put the seed in the ground, you feed it and you water it, and then there's a period of time where things need to happen internally for that plant to then show externally. Or a flower, there's the bud there, and then the sunlight hits it and it's getting water. But there's a time, there's an unfolding for that flower to open up and for it to become a fully blossoming flower. And it's the same thing for situations in life and movements and decisions of the next thing to go to. There's a process of unfolding that needs to happen. So people in that period of time tend to have anxiety about what the decision is. And that's when the movement is internal, not external, which means that you need to wait. That time needs to happen from when you're presented with it before the choice is clear. If it's not clear what is next, and you can't feel what is right, what feels light and bright is always right. If you can't feel that, it's an unfolding time, which means the focus needs to be internal. So that's the period of time where you're going to focus on your internal movement. So really focus on, meditation or personal development, something to a new exercise program, incorporating a new food, bringing in a new self-discipline habit, one of the 5 daily disciplines, adding one of those. It's internal movement time. So it's a period of time where there's nothing more you can do. There's an unfolding period It may not have anything to do with you. Some other pieces have to float into place, and then it will be very, very clear when that decision is ready to be made, because you'll clearly know which is the right decision. A lot of times during unfolding times, the decision presents itself. So you don't have to do anything. You may have just needed, that's exactly what you need to do, was to take a step back, do some internal work, focus on something else, and the right decision would have unfolded for you. So I want to make that perfectly clear. When I say if the decision isn't clear, do nothing, that does not mean that you sit on your hands and do nothing. The movement is not external, so it's not an action time. The movement is internal, or focusing on something else. Hope that helps, as I say every time. And if you want to schedule a private session with me so we can dive into your own stuff and figure out what's keeping you stuck, and find the tools that you need to move you faster and furiouser to your intuitive development, schedule a private session with me below, and there's also a free download for you below as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Until next time.